posts. You can find out all about it. Don't miss this opportunity. Seating is limited, so act now. The problem then was the Swiss did not want the Swiss franc to go too much above the euro, because this would then strangle the Swiss attempt to compete with Germany, Japan, and Austria and others in this area of precision optics, precision instruments, precision watches, all kinds of very high level stuff. They would price themselves out of the market. So they said, we're going to set it at 1.2 as the relation between the two currencies, 1.2 Swiss francs to a euro. But that meant that you had to sell Swiss francs and buy euros, and they were accumulating a colossal amount of euros. And hot money was coming in order to shield itself from other dangers, right? It's a flight to quality. It's a safe haven play for these finance oligarchs. So if they had waited any longer, they would have been faced by the need to sell even more Swiss francs and buy even more euros, and they decided they didn't want to do that. So yesterday, they terminated the peg. They removed the cap, and they let the Swiss franc go up, 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 and it went all the way up to 0.85 euros for 1 Swiss franc. That's quite a heavy devaluation or upvaluation in this case for the Swiss franc. So the point of that is it stabilized at a gain of about 15% for the Swiss franc compared to the euro. But still, this is probably the largest shift of any significant currency, right, apart from the smaller developing countries, probably since the collapse of the Smithsonian Accords about 1973-74. I would say it's the biggest currency earthquake in about 40 years. You could quibble about that, right? You could say, well, the Soros attack and destruction of the European rate mechanism in 1992 was similar. Maybe so. But you get the idea. It's something that's looming over many decades to get to anything comparable. So that's a very big shift, right? We're not talking about, the price of I don't know what, electronics online. This is a currency, right? And it's one of the more important ones. So the peg is now finished. The cap is gone. And look at this. What it's done is, I'm sure, to create huge derivatives losses in many zombie bank and hedge fund hyena operation across the world. So far, we've only seen the tip of the iceberg. The real losses as a result of what the Swiss have done, and it was done with a certain amount of surprise, has, I think, probably caused a tremendous amount of damage because of the fact that the world economy is now so full of derivatives, and so many hedge fund hyenas and zombie bankers use these derivatives, right? They got bets in all directions. So it means that any dislocation, any shock is multiplied. That's why derivatives have got to be banned and taxed, according to which derivatives we're talking about. So here's what it has now led to. A number of currency trading brokerages have gone belly up. First of all, there's something called Excel Markets in New Zealand. That has simply gone bankrupt. One of the problems is that these are brokerages in some cases that do retail investing for little people. Little people get into this and lose their shirts. But if the little person is wiped out, then the Excel markets have to make good the losses. So they can't either, so they're also gone. There's a similar company in Great Britain, Alpari, Alpari, in Great Britain. They're also gone. Same story. And the one in the U.S. that's attracted most attention is FXCM. FXCM currency brokerage brokerage, they have lost almost 90% of their stock value today in one day, the 16th of January. And by losing 90%, they're either going to go bankrupt or more likely be taken over by another currency firm, the Jeffries company. John Hancock Absolute Return Currency Fund, run by First Quadrant and sold through the John Hancock sales network of insurance agents and so forth. That has been hit very hard. It lost about 9% of its stock value today. Citibank admits losing $200 million on this. I would have to guess it's more. Think of the London whale, right? Imagine the London whale. Compare the first announcement of losses to the subsequent announcements of losses, and you'll see that they don't get smaller; they get bigger. So lots of Swiss companies. Again, the Swatch watches are complaining that this is a tsunami, and in Poland. Poland primarily, but also Hungary, Croatia, and some others, Eastern Europe, there are people who have bought mortgages denominated in Swiss francs because the interest rates were low, but there was this currency risk. And now people in Poland who have Swiss franc denominated mortgages are going to get skinned alive, because if it was 30 billion of mortgages in Poland, in terms of the Polish zloty, it's going to be, 34 billion in zlotys or whatever it is, as a result of this upvaluing. And, of course, the Swiss stock market in chaos, and so forth. So this is a very ugly scene. Along with this, on the same day, India carried out a rate cut. The Reserve Bank of India has lowered the interest rate it charges banks by 0.25% to 7.75%. That is the first rate reduction in nearly 2 years in India. Switzerland has also gone to more negative interest rates. What, you want to park your money in the Swiss bonds, for example? Well, that will cost you minus 1.25% per year, up from, I think, 0.25. So another whole percentage point that they're going to carve out of the amount that you deposit there. That's a huge dislocation.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Worried about getting sick and feeling terrible for days or even weeks? You need Immudyne for a healthy immune system. Why get sick and bother with products that just don't work? For just $1 a day, Immudyne is all natural and safe for all lifestyles. Call 866-257-8668 to buy now before it's too late, before you get sick. Or go to immudyne.com, Immudyne.com, or call 866-257-8668.
You pick up the receiver with your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead. You finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the host you're listening to right now online at gcnlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at gcnlive.com.
Yeah?
Did you want to see me, sir?
Well, I did, but now that I do, I'm not so sure.
Sir?
Johnson, I got a mission for you that could change your life.
Oh, good, sir.
It involves traveling halfway around the world without so much as half a clue of where you're going or what you're going to do when you get there.
Situation normal, sir?
Uh-huh. But I'll be leading this mission, Johnson, so I'll be telling you what to do.
You, sir?
That's right, Johnson, and I say first things first.
Oh, good plan, sir.
And what I say is first is food. Always remember that, Johnson. Food is a big deal.
Sir, my brother-in-law can get us a really good deal on some surplus MREs.
Johnson, if you've got half a brain and that empty head of yours, you'll call the freeze-dry guy like I did. That food is better for you, it rehydrates faster, and it's good, Johnson. And it keeps for up to 30 years.
Will we be gone that long, sir?
I hope not. Now get your supplies organized and meet me down to the pier at dawn on Sunday. We sail at sunrise.
Yes, sir.
This adventure is brought to you by the Freeze Dry Guy. Call 866-404-3663 or visit freezedryguy.com.
By now, you've heard the news stories about police shootings turned into racially charged protests and police officers being executed in retaliation. These developments are frightening to say the least. The scary part is that now police officers feel like they have to form committees and hold public hearings just to get approval to respond to a violent crime in progress. They have to hesitate now and worry about being attacked by the media and the public just for doing their jobs. The point is, you need to be able to defend yourself. Your home, business, family, your survival depends on you now more than ever. Look, the police are being hamstrung. Anti-American forces are working to register and eventually confiscate our guns. Politics are threatening our Second Amendment and our freedom. Fight back. Get a Ghost AR-15 at guns80.com. Go to 844-2-GUNS-80. That's 844-248-6780. Look, there are no papers, no dealers, and no registration. Get your Ghost AR-15 rifle now. Go to guns80.com. That's guns80.com. Or call 844-2-GUNS-80 today.
Great minds think alike. The network for the independent-minded. The Genesis Communications Network. GC.
Sum up this Swiss franc story in the following way. World deflation has kicked in. The falling oil price, oil got down to about $44 this week. The European Central Bank is afraid of deflation, as they well might be. Of course, their response is imbecilic, the quantitative easing of Draghi. What you need to do in Europe is the same as anywhere else. You got to open up a credit stimulus window at the European Central Bank. This is the fundamental demand. Harness the credit creation power of the European Central Bank. Credit stimulus window, let's say about 6 or 7 trillion euros, and start rebuilding the entire infrastructure of the European continent, superhighways, railroads, roads, energy production, schools, hospitals, public buildings, the works. The full Works Progress Administration, Harry Hopkins, WPA, PWA, CCC, TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority, the entire thing. That would generate plenty of demand, and you'd be way away from any problem of deflation. Instead, they insist on doing it through the zombie bankers and through the rotten derivatives. That won't work. But in the course of doing that, they're trying to drive down the price of the euro, because the euro is indeed too high. Strangles even German exports struggle as a result of the euro being so high. And as the European Central Bank attempts to drive down the euro, the Swiss say, well, we don't want to have to maintain ourselves at this point, right? And therefore they've got to break away, right? Cut loose from the euro. That's what they've done. The Swiss franc went way up, and that's then the response. And remember, I'll say it again, where is the new long-term capital management? Where is the new explosive bankruptcy in the system. We don't know. Belarus, Russia, now Switzerland, different countries taking their turn in the barrel, getting slammed, so forth. The foreign exchange market is about $5 trillion a day. It's hard to move it, but